Hi, it's Blue.
And Emerson.
And we're here with our second video. We've been wanting to talk and share this with you guys for a while now, but because of waiting for everything to happen, it's taken us a little while, but we finally are able to now. So Emerson moved in with Claire and I. We live up in Northern California, like a smaller town. And he moved in around March of 2017. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And upon moving in, he filled out an application like you do in most places. And so he had submitted that. And the landlord came over to our house and knocked on the door and asked who it was. And Emerson answered it.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And he asked, I was just wondering who this was on the application, because I guess I didn't look like my legal name. And I said, oh, well, that's actually me. I guess I didn't really know how to tell you this, but I'm transgender, and that's, my legal name. So all of my, IDs and everything, my paycheck and everything is going to be under that name. But I go by Emerson, and he was like, oh, okay. And then he kind of left. And then he contacted you, I think.
Yeah, and then he contacted me in passing and said, oh, yeah, he's approved or whatever. And I said, okay, is there anything else? And he's like, no. And so that was pretty much it. I just assumed he was added to the lease, and that was all there was to it. We were never asked to, sign anything or whatever. So then we started going to the pool probably, in May. Mm-hmm. Or so, because it gets hot up here. And Emerson had started using his KT tape. Mm-hmm. For his chest.
For the first time, out and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And so it was really awesome to, for him to feel comfortable enough to wear it. And, we'd had, there's families that were at the pool. And it was just awesome. And for Claire to be so supportive. She's so supportive about it. So it was really nice for him to experience that. And she was starting to learn to swim. And I would go to work because I worked in the afternoon. And so they would use that time for swim lessons. And so, this was the first afternoon that they actually had gone without me. Mm-hmm. And, you know.
Sure. So we got to the pool, and Claire went into the pool. And the landlord soon after came into the pool and approached me and told me that I wasn't allowed to be at the pool. And I had my KT tape on. I was just kind of sitting like this, though, on one of the patio chairs. And he said I wasn't allowed to be there without Blue there. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of confused by that because... why wouldn't I be allowed to be at the pool if I'm, a tenant here? And he said, well, you're not a tenant, actually. You're just a roommate, and roommates aren't allowed to use the facilities here without the tenant being here. So I was like, well, what does it take to become a tenant? And he was like, a credit check and your last paychecks and all this stuff. An application, and I was like, well, I did all of those things
when I moved in.
So I was like, I'm kind of confused. And he was like, well, you're not allowed to be here. And I said, well, Claire and I just got here. Are you trying to tell me that I need to tell her to get out? She just got in. And he's like, I guess you can just stay here for the rest of the day, but don't come back here without Blue, essentially. So I kind of shook it off, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I just kind of wanted to stay present, for Claire and just have a good time. So we had our swim lesson, and about 30 minutes or 40 minutes later, I was getting out and drying off, and I told Claire, start picking up your toys and stuff. And the landlord approached me again as I was drying off, so I was just standing there with my tape, and we were the only ones at the pool at the time. And he was like, so you still technically have your boobs, right? And at that moment I was shocked, I didn't really know what this like guy was saying to me, you know. And I said, "Excuse me," and he said, "Well, you're still technically a female, aren't you?" And was like looking me up and down and stuff. And Claire had stopped doing what she was doing and was kind of watching to see what my reaction was. And I ended up telling him that he was, you know, coming off offensively, and he kind of like scoffed and said like, "Oh, I thought I was coming off gently," or something weird. And in those moments, I was just kind of really like wondering what was going on. You know, I was very shocked at the situation. I was also obviously wanting to erupt in emotion and defend myself, but I also was very conscious of Claire being, you know, yards away from the conversation, and me, how I would react is gonna like teach her how she should react to bullies and stuff. So it was a whole bunch of emotions and anger. So I just kind of held it in and said, you know, we're leaving right now. And then go ahead.
Okay, so then I got a call after that happened. I was at work at the time, and he told me the story, and like, I was just like shocked that anybody would ask anybody that at all. It was just like mind blowing to me, and especially like in front of Claire, and the fact that he came up twice. It was all kind of, it was very disbelieving. So I was really upset, and I called, and I didn't understand how he couldn't even be there in the first place. That was like singling him out and saying he couldn't be there when I've had two previous roommates, and both my roommates could go. So I was really upset. So I called, and I told him that I would like to speak with him and have his wife present. And so I had talked with them, and he denied even saying anything regarding that at all, and was very rude and repeatedly used your legal name, even though I asked for him and his wife to use Emerson. So it was just very, very disheartening, for no apology, no remorse, no anything when I said, you know, you did it in front of our daughter. And so it was just a really hard time for Emerson, because we had felt like we had a breakthrough with doing really well, and having him just feel comfortable with his body, and as he should, and as he does now. But
and it had taken me so long to actually get to the point where I felt okay with going out in public with just the tape, you know. I think that takes, you know, a lot of just like not caring aspect to wearing tape. So it kind of made me a lot more insecure about that for a moment in time, that we had to like rebuild and stuff. So it was a lot of like emotional work for all of us, really, but a lot of growth.
And explaining to Claire
Right.
was the really hardest thing, I think, probably for you in some ways.
Oh, totally. Because me and Claire obviously had to have a talk about Daddy's body and how others may perceive it and how we perceive it, and just about people in general, and like how
asking about your body and how it's completely
how it's
inappropriate.
wrong, that no one should ever ask, you know, boy, girl, anyone about their body parts or anything like that, no matter who they are, and how you have to stand up against that, and that that's not right, and that you can't just be silent through those things. And I think that it became really important to us, because not only after just that situation, but like a month later or two, they posted on our door about like a new set of pool rules.
I was like in October after the pool was closed.
Yeah, they posted on the door a new set of pool rules
and asked us to sign it.
That said, you know, males must wear this type of bathing suit and females must wear this type of bathing suit, which was like just already like we were already at a point of distress, you know,
Yeah.
and just to be like repeatedly not
reminded of
targeted,
that.
but reminded of, that they were not really in support
at all.
of
Yeah.
anything about me or us. So
and we stopped using all of like the amenities that we had here, like the laundromat. And
yeah, and of course we
the
never wanted to
pool.
go back to
No,
the pool.
Of course not.
So
You had reached out and contacted some lawyers actually in San Francisco area.
So Blue supported me, and we had obviously talked over and over again about this and how, we believe that a lot of people in our community probably go through a lot of unjust and and obvious just type of targeting and just overall like rudeness. It just is unwarranted type bullying. And it was important for us as a family and as parents to teach Claire, especially because she was in the situation with me, that wasn't right, and it's something to
stand up for
totally.
Yourself.
Yeah, and for who you are, and for your family, and for your community. So Blue supported me in contacting some lawyers, and we ended up getting in contact with some. And long story short, they wanted to settle out of court because they didn't obviously want to go to court with something like this. But all the way through the mediation, the guy still denied that he ever had that interaction with me. So it just goes to show that some people are just negative and dark, and they feed off of that type of behavior. And it's not up to us to try to make sense of it, but it's up to us to try to grow from those types of interactions, I think. And we were very graceful and polite and humble through the whole situation, and just very honest and stuck together.
And we were led in a lot of ways and signs that we believe to be, this was our path and this was what we were supposed to do. Just in regards to the lawyers and how, it was just amazing. All of it was really, I don't know, it's been life-changing. And the fact that, the reason why really is because we needed to move, we needed to get out of here, and we wanted a fresh start. And so this really is our chance to get out as a family, be closer to Dad's work, and closer to water. And it's really given us a fresh new start.
So we're gonna be able to move soon, and through that also I'm gonna be able to get my surgery, and we're just really excited, and we wanted to share with everyone that you don't have to just be silent when you feel like something is wrong, and unconditional love and support really does get you through some of the darkest times that you may have within yourself, and you may go through those dark times with a partner, and if you can get through it together, you come out so much stronger. And I think that the universe really sees that and blesses people that exude that type of energy. You're cute. Okay, so anyway, thank you guys for always supporting us, and we're so excited to start our new adventure. This is also kind of why we started this, because we just want to document every step that we have.
Because it's all new and exciting, and it's fun to share with you guys. You guys are like family to us now. You guys follow us, and we really do appreciate it, and it's awesome.
So stay tuned, and if you guys have any other ideas for future videos, just leave them in the comments. And thanks again. We love you guys.
Bye.
See ya.